He found her dying in the snow, her lips blue, her breath fading. She had nothing, no weapons, no tribe, just silence and tears. And still he carried her inside, gave her fire, gave her hope, but he didn't know who she was or who was watching, because at dawn 700 warriors stood outside his gate and they weren't there to talk. They called him Elam, just Elam. No last name, no family, just a man with weathered hands and the eyes of someone who had seen too much and said too little. He lived for days right from the nearest town, and he liked it that way. A cabin, a mule, 2 horses, a ghost of a wife in every corner of the house, and silence so deep it pressed on his ribs when he slept. Every morning was the same. He'd fix his coffee, feed the horses, and ride the fence line. Some day he didn't speak a word, not even to the wind. That winter was cruel, the kind of winter that breaks both man and beast, the kind that makes the fire crack loud because the cold is biting hard, and the kind that makes stories. Elam didn't believe in stories until that day. He had just returned from checking the northern edge of his land. His horses slowed, ears twitching. Something was off, something unnatural in the snow. A shape, too small for a deer, too still for a fox. He dismounted, stepped forward, and saw her. A girl, young, barely more than a child, Comanche. Her cheeks were cracked, her lips pale, her fingers curled and purple, but her chest, it moved. Barely, but it moved. Elam didn't pause, didn't ask, didn't think. He took off his coat, wrapped her up, and carried her onto his saddle. The wind fought him the whole ride back, as if it didn't want this moment to happen, as if nature itself had decided this girl had no place being safe. But Elam, he had already lost too much to let death win again. Back at the cabin, he laid her near the fire. He didn't know Comanche herbs, didn't know what herbs to use, but he remembered what kept his wife alive, at least for a while. He crushed roots, he warmed broth, he whispered prayers in a voice that cracked from disuse. And she lived. By morning she opened her eyes. She didn't speak, not at first, just looked at him, as if studying a wild animal, or deciding if she was dead or dreaming. Elam gave her space. He pointed to food she didn't eat, he pointed to water she sipped. For 3 days she didn't say a word. But on the 4th, when the sun pierced through the storm clouds, she whispered one word. Why? He didn't answer. He just tossed more wood into the fire and poured her more broth. She was maybe 17, maybe younger, with eyes that had seen too much for any age. One night while she slept, he noticed the scars, lines across her back, thin and deep, some healed, some not. Who had whipped her? Then look outside at the endless stretch of snow and pine. What do I call you? He asked. She paused. Winona, she whispered. It means firstborn daughter. He nodded. Winona, it is. That night the wind changed. It didn't just howl. It screamed. Elam went to check the horses and stopped, because on the ridge above his cabin, silhouetted against the stars, were warriors. Dozens. No, hundreds. He counted again. No, not dozens. 700. They didn't move, didn't shout, didn't draw, just watched. Elam walked slowly back inside, lit every lamp, sharpened his knife, loaded his rifle. Winona sat by the fire. She didn't flinch. She didn't panic. She only said, "They came." And then she stood, opened the door, and walked out into the snow, barefoot, bare-shouldered, and unafraid. Elam started after her, but stopped in the doorway, because as she walked, one by one, the warriors dismounted. They knelt, every last one of them. The oldest stepped forward. He was scarred, his hair braided with eagle feathers, his eyes tired but bright. He looked at Elam, and he spoke in slow English. "This man saved the daughter of our chief. He gave her fire. He gave her life. So we give him ours. This land, this cabin, this man shall never be harmed by Comanche hand, ever." He reached forward and laid the carved bone in Elam's palm. It was a token of peace, of protection, of gratitude. Winona turned back, smiled, and said, "I had to be sure that you were real, that kindness still lived here, that the old stories could still be true." And then she stayed, not as a guest, not as a burden, but as family. The snow thawed, the birds returned, and for the first time in years, Elam laughed, not because life was easier, but because it finally had meaning, and every spring a new warrior would ride by, place a feather on the gate, a reminder that kindness in the Wild West was never forgotten.